Week 9 kicks off with the tale of two different teams going two very different directions. CJ Stroud in one corner and Aaron Rodgers in the other corner facing off for the first time.
Thursday Night Football!
Welcome back, or welcome to America's Sports, and we will get into everything in Thursday Night Football, getting you all the most important data and information before everyone else. So far throughout the season, when it comes to predicting these primetime games, I am 14-2 straight up, I am 10-6 against the spread, and 12-4 against the over-under. So happy Halloween, trick or treat, and all that good shit. Now let's get into the preview. The 2-6 overall Jets are playing their fourth home game of the season against the 6-2 Houston Texans. The Jets are favored by a -2 points, with the over-under sitting at 42.5 total points. And I gotta be honest with you, after seeing that for the first time, I was kind of surprised that Jets weren't home underdogs. When this thing kicks off, it's going to be in the mid-60s and a little bit cloudy, but a perfect time to play at MetLife Stadium, with wind gusts at about 10 miles per hour and a 1 in 4 chance of it to rain. Over the course of the regular season, the Jets are 7-3 against Houston. The Jets have also won the last two meetings, which was last year and in 2021. So Stroud might be 0-1 against the New York Jets, but he has not faced Rodgers yet. They took it to him too. They beat him 30-6 last year. However, the Jets are fortunate that they get to play him again at MetLife Stadium. The Jets' defensive numbers are about the same as they were last year. They're just way worse. They're just worse than they were a year ago on the special teams and especially at kicking. Even the yards given up in the rush game is about the same, given about 1.6 yards per game difference. On the defensive side for the Texans, they give up about a point more per game, but they're a little bit better at stopping the run. And they might not be better at stopping the pass than the Jets, but they're damn near it. They are number 3. So the first thing we got to think here is there's going to be a lot of running in this game, especially with both of the teams having injuries to wide receivers, especially on the Houston side. But with New York, they do have a guy like Devontae Adams, who he just got there pretty much and really hasn't gotten comfortable with his numbers, or at least the normal numbers he usually puts up. So we'll see a lot of Joe Mixon, and we'll see a lot of Breece Hall that you can count on. On the flip side, the Texans have them by a little bit on offense. Now, Houston is much better in rushing yards than New York. You would think with Breece Hall that they would be better than they are, but they are actually at the bottom. And of course, Houston gets about 5 points per game more than them too. That can be singled out straight to the run game and to the kick game right there. Now let's take a look at some of the key injuries so we can factor in how the game is going to go completely.
Injury report.
Starting with the road team, you probably already heard about this, but Stephon Diggs is out for the year. That is huge for their playoff implications. That is huge for the team in general. And Nico Collins, who was on pace to be the number 1 wide receiver by all measures at the start of the year, is still out and probably will be for the next couple of weeks. They will look to guys like Xavier Hutchinson and Robert Woods and Tank Dell especially. On defense, they are still missing DB Okuda. He is not going to play in this one, perhaps next week. Safety Jimmy Ward hasn't played since the Buffalo game on October the 6th. Linebacker Al-Jair, who they have missed dearly, is also not playing. So that's a few big hits on defense there. Now for the Jets, this is interesting. Allen Lazard, who missed the last game, is still questionable. Don't know if he's going to play on a short week. They also have 2 offensive linemen that are questionable, and that is really, really not good for them if they don't play. Then on defense, linebacker CJ Mosley is questionable, and I'm not sure if he's going to play. He's only played in half the games this year, and I think they have really missed him. And the Jets also have both of their safeties that are questionable. And then their kicker, Greg Zuerlein, just went on IR. They are going to be looking for a kicker. That their kick game already wasn't great, and now they're looking for one. Eesh. All right, let's get into some game props.
Game props.
As we look at the anytime touchdowns, there are two that are in the negatives, and that is Joe Mixon and Breece Hall. Of course, like we talked about, that's probably what's going to happen. Joe Mixon at minus 145, Breece Hall at minus 130. Yeah, I would definitely be more confident in telling you that Joe Mixon is going to get in the end zone because he pretty much does every game that he plays. And if you're looking for a flyer, I think Schultz to finally get in the end zone would be a good look as well. I think they're going to have to lean on him a lot. Heading over to the passing props, they've got Aaron Rodgers at 233.5 passing yards, while CJ is at 225.5. Now, Rodgers and Stroud are both averaging more than that, but because both of these defenses are so good against the pass, that has me nervous. A quick note, Stroud has gone under that number in 2 of the last 3 games, but he went over it in the last one. As for Rodgers, he's gone over 233.5 3 of the last 4 games, and in the last one, he had exactly 233 passing yards. For rushing over-under, they've got CJ Stroud at 8.5, Joe Mixon is at 82.5, Breece Hall at 66.5, and Braylon Allen at 21.5. For rushing props, there are a couple of them that I like. I think looking at Braylon Allen is not a bad idea. He has gone over his 21.5 that he set out in 4 of the 8 games played, so half the time. And he did it in the last game, as they gave him 12 carries in the game against New England last week. Heading over to the receptions, and Dalton Schultz is sitting at 4.5, and he has not caught more than 4 balls in a game this year, but I do think the uptick will be enough to where he catches 5 in this one. It just really feels like he's due, along with he has been getting more targets over the last month as well, kind of compensating a little bit for the absence of Nico Collins, and now they're really going to have to do it on Thursday. Joe Mixon's is set at 3.5, and he had 4 catches on 6 targets in the last game for 32 receiving yards. And for Garrett Wilson sitting at 5.5, you think he would easily do that, but he's only done that twice in the last 6 games. Looking at Garrett Wilson's yards, though, they are 62.5, and he's done that in 3 of the last 4 games. In fact, in 3 of the last 4 games, he's had over 100 receiving yards. The only one he did not do that against was Pittsburgh, and Joe Mixon over 24.5 ain't too bad either. He's done that in 3 out of 5 games played. Houston is 2-2 on the road, and the Jets are 1-2 at home. Both these teams started 2-1, and then they just went complete opposite ass directions. Since that 2-1 start, Houston's won 4 of their last 5 games, while the Jets have lost all 5 of their last 5 games. And to be honest, it's hard to find them winning this one, even though they are favored and even though it is at MetLife. I read the score to you as well of what Zach Wilson's Jets did to Houston last year. Even still, with all that said, you would think the Jets would just right the ship, but I'm too scared of their damn kicking team and their special teams letting New England go anywhere they wanted to last week for them to beat a Houston team even without their wide receivers. And they have a lot more momentum on their side. So I am all over Houston, especially the fact that I don't have to give the Jets any points. And you could almost tell me whatever the under is, and I would go with it. I don't think there's a lot here. I think you ride with a couple of the guys that you really like if you're going to do some game props. But yeah, that's my final verdict. I've got the Texans to win, and I've got the under. But that's it for this video, guys. Check out the new NBA and NFL power rankings that I will be coming out with here shortly. I hope you'll stick around for that and some more predictions. But until next time, guys, you'll see me in the next one.